want you to do, please, 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 pass this show on to all of your friends and your neighbors. Please let them know. Pass this on the internet. You can find it at foxnews.com. Please pass this show on to friends. Republicans, Democrats, just Americans, please, just use the noodle for a second. I know a lot of the news networks are getting a thrill up their leg because the Dow crossed 10,000. But show me what's changed. Show me what's been good about that. None of this recovery is real. Remember what I just showed you about the bubbles? Well, we got another bubble I just told you about coming our way. It's being built right now. It's the money bubble. This one is global. So what are we facing in the world? Well, England, they're in trouble. They just expanded their money printing program because, quote, at least it's doing something. Well, there's logic for you. Coincidentally, they also just had a 1.5% inflation jump, expected to go up another 3%. Japan's debt burden will climb twice the size of their economy next year. Ukraine, the GDP just dropped almost 16%. Greece is in their first recession in 16 years. The list goes on and on and on. And then we have our problems. Our national debt is on an incredible rise. Look at this. In 2000, it was $5.7 trillion. 2004, 7.5. 2008, 10.6. From January to now, it's 12 trillion. We're not slowing down. Next year's projected $14.4 trillion. You can't even get your arm around that number. Let me give you some perspective. The total, and I sent this back 3 times because I couldn't believe this number. The total combined profits, including the losses, for all Fortune 500 companies last year, all 500, you take the loss, you gather them together, what do you have? The big pile of money at the end? $98.8 billion. The government would have to take 100% of the Fortune 500's profit every year for 145 years to pay this off. Now, I remind you, that's not all the unfunded liabilities because this number is bogus. There's another set of books. The real number is $105 trillion. If you took out the companies that lost money and you just looked at every dollar that they took in, that leaves $619 billion in profits of all 500. You ain't going to pay off this debt. You're not going to pay off this one. And yet, we just keep spending. We just think we're going to deserve it. All of a sudden, money fairies are going to fly out of everybody's rump. What is wrong with us? You already know about the trillions of stimulus and TARP, but it doesn't end there. No. Food and Drug Administration, up 19% this year, $3.2 billion. Housing and Urban Development, up 18%. Department of Education, 13%. Environmental Protection Agency, 35%, up $11 billion. The Postal Service got a $4 billion bailout to pay for the retirees' health care coverage. How many signs do we need? Even the Chinese officials asked the president during his visit, how are you going to pay for this health care thing? Don't they understand? The president promised us it would be deficit neutral. At least 8 American states, including California, New York, New Jersey, are in a deep financial crisis. These states are going to collapse if we don't stop. State pensions, they're underfunded. Unfunded liabilities, Social Security, Medicare, $106.8 trillion. Sorry, I guess that 105 is wrong. It's 106.8. We have increased the printing of our money, look at this, by 120% in the past 12 months. Unemployment is at 10.2% and rising. We cannot sustain this path. This is insane. Oh, yeah, I know. It's Glenn Beck. What does he know? Fine. I want to be wrong. Don't take it from me. Take it from the CBO's director. This is the Congressional Budget Office, the director, nonpartisan. Listen to this, our main accountant. Fiscal policy is on an unsustainable path to an extent that cannot be solved by minor tinkering. The country faces a fundamental disconnect between the services the people expect the government to provide. I don't expect the government to provide anymore. I want them to stop. Even the CBO director doesn't think it's sustainable. This is our accountant. Should we listen to them? We just showed you proof last night. Gallup poll. For the first time in history, you know it in your gut. America, stand up. Be proud of yourself. For the first time in history, the Gallup poll showed that a majority of people don't think it's the government's right or responsibility to provide health care. But that's not what the president says. No, no, no.
Only government can break the cycle that are crippling our economy.
Only the government can continue this cycle. After it doesn't work, they'll say, well, okay, well, we didn't have enough. It's a global problem. The UN is the answer. I don't know who the answer is. But you and I know that is not true. The answer is not them. They're the problem. The answer is you. You can't even control them. But you can control yourself. This Saturday, I am going to Florida. All next year, this show is changing next year. We are moving forward because I'm tired of it. We are going to unveil a plan this Saturday in Florida. I'm going to be at the Villages in Florida. I'm going to bring it to you on television if you can't be there. But I wanted to be able to look people in the eye. I want to see your commitment back. Coming this January, my whole approach changes on this program. There is a problem here, America. And I'm going to have I don't care what people say about me. Personal responsibility is dead in this country. It is time that we get the little paddles and bring the body back. People refuse in Washington to be held accountable for their actions. We pass the blame instead of accepting it. Get responsible. Accept the blame or give the blame where it belongs. Get out of debt yourself. The time for reckless spending is over. They don't get it in Washington, but you must get it in your own house. There is no easy way out of this. I saw a recent article titled, "America is Losing Its Innovative Edge." No, we haven't. We just have a giant government foot stepping on our windpipe. They're trying to protect us from failure, but failure is good. As we are seeing, it is only that stopping us failing is only creating a bigger failure that's going to wipe everything out. We must reconnect with the things that are real, the things that you grew up knowing were true. They are true. The things our grandparents taught us, to never, ever forget the lessons they learned in the Great Depression. When we learn those things, we're going to be able to innovate our way out of this mess. It's going to be a bumpy ride, gang, but we can do it and we'll help each other, not because the government tells us to, but because we're Americans and we're neighbors. I saw a great bumper sticker the other day. It said, "When the people lead, the leaders will follow." Well, let me quote that bumper sticker philosophy. I will see you at the Villages in Florida Saturday at 3. You have to spend a dime. It's free.
It's okay to say workers, just don't say union. SEIU's internal memo exposed. Next.